Any predictions for this fight, David?
Yeah, I usually don't make predictions, but
I put you on the spot there. I mean, you got to say, if there's a favorite, this is his more natural weight class. The bigger guy, Q Parks, 6-0 as a pro. You said it yourself. VanCamp's moving up from 155.
exactly. I mentioned a little bit earlier that I probably talked to a dozen people and asked them who was going to win, because this was, I think, the fight that most people were really looking forward to and saying, this is going to be a really good fight, really even matchup. And I think it was split down the middle of who thought each guy was going to win.
But you would agree Parks is probably the favorite?
Yeah, I think maybe a slight favorite here is Q Parks.
Wow.
See the kicks there early on from Q. Nice kick to the body there. A little bit of coy back and forth there so far. Cameron VanCamp switches stances. That was a nasty leg kick there that buckled Cameron VanCamp, and he switches immediately back. There's the head kick there from Q Parks.
Q Parks showing a very wide arsenal of kicks. Attacking the legs, attacking the head.
Cameron VanCamp, I think if there's one advantage he definitely has in this fight, it might be the wrestling.
Okay.
And gets it to the ground now in side control here.
See how VanCamp can capitalize on this side control dominant position. Now Parks is using the cage with his right foot.
You see the big red welt already on the right leg from that leg kick, one of those leg kicks of Q Parks.
Also one of the more underrated aspects of MMA is those leg kicks.
Q Parks doing a good job though here, regaining his guard off of his back. Using the cage here to try to sneak out. But VanCamp doing a good job pulling him away from the cage. Nice elbow there. Short little elbow. Those are the strikes that can end fights quickly if you can cut your opponent.
In the professional ranks, even if you're in their guard, you slide some elbows in.
Q Parks was trying to work that high guard there, and you see just the ridiculous length of Q Parks able to.
He's got to be careful with those elbows. Was that close to being illegal, David?
The elbow, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
It's going to be tough, for a referee. Technically, the 12-6 straight down elbow is illegal. But
wow, very impressive sweep.
And that was just pure athleticism, I think, just strength, not a ton of technique behind that, but still able to get on top here. And now in mount, you see those grapevines here from Q Parks, and this is going to be a tough position for Cameron VanCamp to work out of.
Q Parks also engaging the hips. This is not a comfortable place for Cameron VanCamp.
But VanCamp, you see, relaxing on the bottom here. Not a guy who's going to freak out. He's got 13 pro bouts under his belt.
About 2 minutes left in the first round of 3 scheduled 5-minute rounds.
And Q Parks I thought he was working his hips up to try to grab an armbar, but now throwing some strikes here on top.
Maintaining those grapevines when he can.
VanCamp now has Parks back in a half guard, looking to try to work now as a full guard. Butterfly guard on that right side and the foot on the left hip.
Very impressive jiu-jitsu on the ground for Cameron VanCamp. Got out of a very difficult situation.
Yes, control of Parks left.
Almost a triangle.
And this looks like it might be deep here.
Oh my goodness, does he have it?
Locked that in out of nowhere. This look at and Q Parks.
Oh
taps.
my goodness, what an impressive victory for Cameron VanCamp, locking in the triangle despite the size disadvantage. Cameron VanCamp showing his jiu-jitsu skills with the beautiful triangle in transition.
Off of his back, and that was definitely just VanCamp just staying patient there and waiting it out until he slipped that leg, that left leg past the shoulder of Q Parks.
How old is this VanCamp? I mean, that's a huge victory for a seemingly very young guy. It's amazing.
Cameron's 24.
It's amazing how 5 minutes ago we were discussing Q Parks being maybe the top prospect in the state. Still is. I mean, there's no shame in losing to somebody like Cameron VanCamp. But the story for tonight is Cameron VanCamp with the big victory over the previously unblemished Q Parks.
170-pound Hardrock MMA champ,
Cameron VanCamp, the first ever professional title holder for Hardrock MMA. I'm sure he has much bigger goals in the sport than that, but it certainly feels good to
Definitely
have that belt around your waist.
A great place to start for Cameron VanCamp. Again, 24 years old. That's his 14th professional fight, and now the Hardrock MMA champion here. Now 4 victories in his last 5 fights.
Very classy display from Q Parks. He said 6-0, and this guy beat me. So giving all the respect in the world to Cameron VanCamp, and you have to agree with him. Very impressive victory for Cameron VanCamp. Let's hear what he has to say. Is Weinl going to give him the mic?
I think he may just do that.
Wow, he did. He jumped up a weight class, and all he did was submitted arguably the top prospect in the state.
Definitely the guys, the VanCamp guys love coming to Kentucky and playing spoiler here, and they love fighting for Hardrock MMA.
Cameron VanCamp with a huge victory.